I'd like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you have been quilting for more than a few years, quite likely you have at least one abandoned project in the back of your closet. You fell out of love, you buried it in your sewing room, and tried to forget it. But it still weighs heavily on your mind. So how do you pull it out, decide what to do, and get it completed? Well, stick with me and I'll show you how to do it. Hi, I'm Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts. I give you tips, tricks, and strategies to help you make the quilt that you want to make. And if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. I remember when I started quilting, thinking I would finish everything. There would be no UFOs for me. But all too soon, they began to accumulate in my sewing room. First, it was simply that I had started way too many projects. Then there were the workshops that I took that I didn't particularly like. And of course, there were projects that needed skills that I hadn't yet acquired. I have already done a video on how to assess your UFOs, how to figure out what are the projects that you want to invest the time and money to finish, and the ones you can let go of. And I'll leave a link to that video in the notes below. Today's video is about dealing with the yes list, the ones we want to complete as intended or with modifications. Opening up that bag or containers sounds very simple. All we need to do is grab that box and open it up. But for some projects, this can be the hardest part, as it involves dragging up all sorts of emotions. Regret for the money that you splurged on the fabric, only to have it sitting in a box somewhere. Embarrassment at a wedding gift that you promised, but never completed. And shame for all the mistakes that you made just because you didn't have the skill. And it's amazing how long we can postpone this step just to avoid those feelings. Just know that it has happened to all of us. Talk to any quilter and we have at least one project where we overspent, overpromised, or overreached. So take a deep breath, grab that project, and lay it all out. Now you want to read through the pattern and any notes that you've made just to refamiliarize yourself with what you've done. Then divide your fabric into piles based on how completed it is. More than likely, you have some completed blocks, some half completed blocks, cut pieces, and some uncut fabric. To move forward, you need to know where you are. And the funny thing is, as the UFO has sat in the closet gathering dust, our grasp of the situation has drifted away. It's amazing how wrong we can be about the status of a project. You might find that you're farther along than you think.
Oh my God, look at this. I have almost a finished quilt. Why in the world have I not sewn this?
But many times it's gone the other way. When I unboxed my 4th of July, I thought I was halfway done and I was barely even started. Were the mistakes as bad as you thought? With the space of time, you can look at your mistakes with a less judgmental eye. Are they honestly as bad as you thought they were? Or maybe they're worse. What is the condition of the blocks? Are they ready to sew? Are they stained? Are they musty? Are they distorted? And remember the context in which you started this project. Were you a new quilter and signed up for everything? Was it fabric you loved or fabric you settled for? Was this intended for someone special, and will they still appreciate it? And lastly, now that you are handling the fabric and the pattern again, can you remember why you stopped? Was it the colors, the size of the quilt, the shape of the block, and is the reason still an issue? And normally at this point, with the facts all before you and your emotions on the table, you might reevaluate this project. You might have renewed energy because your skills have improved, and this is now a project that you can tackle more easily. Or realizing that you've matured as a quilter and now you know what type of quilts you like to make, you might decide to forget about the pattern and lay out the blocks a whole new way, the way you want to. Or weighing all the issues, you might decide to stop where you are, not invest any more time, and just use what you've completed to make a smaller quilt or one with a lot of negative space. Do you have everything you need to continue? Thread, fabric, batting, backing. How much money do you need to invest to finish this quilt off? Then budget and make those purchases. Of course, after seeing how much money you need to invest to finish this quilt, you may choose to stop and not continue. If it's not worth the expense, send the project off to a charity group, or sell it, or give it to a friend. Now you know what you have and what you want to do with it. You also know if you need anything more to complete it. Next, you need to break it down into manageable steps. Start with where it's going to reside in your sewing space. You may want to divide it into sections or groups or rows. Don't overthink it, but you want to be able to pick it up quickly and put it away quickly. Next is, how are you going to work through it? You want to feel some momentum. So instead of planning a pile of 100 blocks to trim, have 10 piles of 10 blocks. Checklists, coloring sheets, or countdown sheets can help visualize the project moving forward. You also want your sewing room set up for success. I have started a series on organizing your sewing space. Not only do you need a good sewing triangle, you also need your good tools close. I'll leave a link to that series in the notes below. And recognize that we often need to go backwards before we go forwards. Fix the mistakes first while you have that first burst of adrenaline and get them out of the way. So before I get to the last point, let me tell you about Skillshare. You might be like me and going stir crazy while the country waits to be vaccinated. So often I turn to Skillshare to keep myself learning and trying new things. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take their next step on their creative journey. In the past year, I have dug into their library for so many ideas. I've done Premiere Pro training, watercolor, graphic design, surface design, and puppy training. But there's so much more. Take a look at their class list. What you see might just surprise and inspire you. Skillshare classes are designed to fit into your life. You can learn and grow with short classes that fit into the short blocks of time in your busy day. I watch in the morning. While the puppy sleeps, I can fit in a class with my morning coffee. You might prefer on your lunch break or in between errands. Skillshare is also affordable, especially when compared to in-person classes and workshops. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Turn this time into an opportunity to explore new skills or deepen an existing passion. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click on the link below in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. Give yourself a start date. You might be thinking, hold on, Karen, don't you mean a complete date? You might be able to throw some adrenaline at it and race to the finish line. But more than likely, this project gave you grief before and likely will again. Maybe it was too repetitious. Maybe the colors are out of your color zone. Or it was fussy. Or you found the directions hard to work through. So I advise that your plan includes some pacing. These old projects will work best slow and steady, and not with a ticking time bomb. You know that I love my timer, and I can't tell you how many projects it has helped me complete 30 minutes at a time. We all have different ways we like to work. Some of you will prefer to work on one project at a time. Some of you like to work on many projects at once. But regardless, incorporating pacing, that is regular stopping to stretch, get a glass of water, have a rest, or do something different will help you get to the finish line. I am just finishing off an old UFO. I am joining Gnome Angel for this year's 100 Days, 100 Blocks again. But I thought it was best to finish off my first 100 Days, 100 Blocks before I started this one. And as I was working through the review phase, I realized that instead of making a quilt with all the blocks, I was going to make a quilt coat. So stay tuned as I figure out how to do it. Last week I had Valerie Goodwin on Karen's Quilt Circle. It was one of my favorite interviews so far as we were talking about her amazing map quilts. Next week on the show, I have Ursula McClintock of LDH Scissors, and we are talking about, surprisingly, scissors. What makes a good one, what we need to look for, and how to care for them. You don't want to miss either of these interviews, so I'll leave a link down in the notes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell beside the subscribe button so that YouTube notifies you when I make new videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Just Get It Done Quilts, and my website, sign up for my newsletter at justgetitdonequilts.com. So take care, and I'll see you next time.